So this is great news. Brian Michael Bendis ends his Superman and Action Comics run in December. Yes, they put him on both books. Why is this great news? Because you're probably not even reading these books because a lot of people jumped off of them. These books were doing really good, actually. I think it's maybe been 2 years now. But during the DC Comics Rebirth era, Superman and Action Comics were really, really fantastic books. This is when they had him kind of doing the family thing. He had his son, John. Both books had great stories. You had Peter Tomasi and Dan Jurgens on them, and they were bi-weekly books. Every week, you got a really good Superman book. While they weren't always great, the run was really good. Some of the best books, I think, for the character in a long time, where they were consistently good. Sales weren't spectacular, but they were pretty good. I think each issue for both titles was around 50,000, 60,000 issues sold. Pretty decent, and it was solid. It was steady. They had a steady fan base. It was a fun take on the character. And I got to be honest, like, for some characters, marrying them up and giving them kids doesn't always work. But I got to tell you, with Superman, that was kind of the logical next step for development of the character. So he had a son. He's married to Lois. A lot of the time during that run, they were living in a farmhouse. It was a good run. I liked it a lot. And then the news broke. Bendis is coming. They made this huge deal about it. All of the books, they were putting these big things of Superman as Bendis is coming. It was like, oh, Lord. Because if anybody had been reading his recent Marvel stuff, it was god-awful. Some of the worst shit I'd ever read. The guy has lost his way. Now, I'm not taking anything away from what Brian Michael Bendis used to make. The guy used to make some pretty solid books. Some of the books were really good. But then just something happened, and the guy just lost his way. Now he's just an overrated hack, and it's just time for him to retire. You got to go, man. And I don't know what book they're going to give him next. God, I don't know. He's ruined so much stuff. He ruined Superman. Superman, all the stuff from Rebirth that was making that character good is gone. John Kent. He doesn't like writing kids, so what did he do? He aged him up. Now he's running around in the future or something. I don't know what he's doing, but they've ruined the character. They have him on all these books. They gave him like 15 books, and all of them suck. I don't think any of them are doing good in sales. But this is good. So I'm glad he's off, because the sales for these books are in the shitter. They're not doing very good. They're terrible now. They sold better bi-weekly. Every week the books sold good. Bendis came on, and more people have just been jumping ship every time an issue drops. I dropped him a long time ago, and it was really hard to do because I really like Superman. He's probably the hardest character to write. One of the hardest characters, I think, to write in mainstream American comic books is Superman, in my opinion. Maybe you'll disagree, but I'm glad that Bendis is off. I'm actually looking forward to maybe picking these books up again. I don't know who they're going to put on. I read something that maybe they might put Mark Waid on there. I don't know if I would like that, but at this point, I would pick the books up if a dog wrote them. So, man, this was great news to me when I saw this today, and I was really excited. Let's take a look at what Newsrama on Games Radar is saying. Brian Michael Bendis' run on DC Comics and Action Comics titles will come to an end in December, according to the publisher's just released DC December 2020 solicitations. Solicitations for both DC shipping issues call it a wrap-up and final Superman tale for Bendis, along with his artist teams on both titles. Now, I got to say, one thing they consistently did with these books is they had great art. But I don't give a damn how good the art is. If the story sucks, the story sucks. And I have to tell you, these titles were trash. It was really hard to give these up. It was almost as hard as giving up Spider-Man. But the Spider-Man books are actually starting to get a little bit better. I'll have like a review video this weekend of all of the books that I have not reviewed. And there's a lot of them. I'll have that up this weekend. But these books are god-awful. So it's the Man of Steel's last stand in the final Superman tale by the superstar team that Brian Michael Bendis has destroyed. Superman comes to face with an alien race that he desperately wants to help before it's too late. As the cosmically powered race known as the Seinmer, I'm probably saying that wrong, aim their deadly power at the Man of Steel's adopted planet, Superman finds himself pushed past anything he has ever faced. Get ready to experience a powerhouse moment for Superman that's been years in the making. My biggest question is, what kind of mark is Bendis going to want to leave on the character before he goes? He's smashed this character's face into a wall repeatedly for months and months and months. This makes me wonder, what is he going to do before he leaves? Maybe he'll have Lois and Clark get a divorce. Maybe that's what the next step is. I don't know. I'm glad he's leaving. I'm really, you have no idea how happy I am that he's leaving. Now, this art's not very good. Oh, this is god-awful. I don't know what the hell they're thinking on some of this. So, this is really it. I'm really excited for him to leave this book. You have no idea. Though you probably do, because I've said it a million times. Let's take a look. Let me show you the sales real quick. So, these are January 2020 numbers, okay? This is not current numbers. I'm going into the past because January 2020 is, I guess, a fair picture of where things were, because you have to remember the COOF came, everything shut down. And I don't think current numbers are too fair because of the fact that the industry is kind of coming back up. But we can still take a look at those too. But I want to give a fair assessment. So these are January 2020. Now, Superman didn't sell that bad at 43,000 issues. But I would argue when it was a bi-monthly book under Tomasi, it was selling a little bit more than that every issue, so twice a month. And then we can go over to Man of Steel, where things really went downhill. So here's Action Comics 1018 to 1019. Look at those numbers for this. So this is drastically different from where this book used to be not that long ago. So Action Comics, when it was a bi-weekly book under Jurgens, they were around 50, high 50s, maybe sometimes 60,000 issues sold, especially as we were creeping up closer to 1,000. And they were consistent on that number. The audience probably dropped by half on Action Comics because of Bendis. It's pretty terrible. So the difference with current numbers, August's aren't even up there yet, is now it's based on order index. They've kind of changed things around a little bit. I don't know if this is going to stay, as things move forward, but this is kind of one of the reasons why I like using the older books. But we can check out Superman. As you can see, it's dropped down to 115. It's number 35 now. And then it gets kind of even worse. I don't know if there was even an Action Comics. Okay, that's around 34. So that was when it started to pick back up. It's a little bit different now, and they list this in the Comic-Con data, but still, I'm glad he's off the book. When he came on, DC was actually, I think, in a much better place. You had a really good book called Super Sons. This was Damian Wayne and John Kent. It was kind of like a team-up book between the two. It was probably the closest thing to American manga there is. It was a great book. But as soon as Bendis joined up at DC Comics, they gave him the reins. Pretty much, he was kind of the head guy of the Superman books, to be honest. What he said goes. They changed everything drastically. And I wonder if the damage can be undone by him. We'll see. I will probably pick Superman and Action Comics back up in January when he's off, and I'm really hoping that they can undo some of this. Maybe bring John Kent back. That would be great. Find a way to de-age him. Maybe say it was all a nightmare. I don't know. But we'll see what happens. But I'm glad he's gone. He's ruined one of my favorite characters, and I'm sad that it took them this long to figure out that he needs to go. Anyway, What do you guys think? I know a lot of you that have been on the channel for a long time remember my Superman reviews. I used to have I probably still do have some of the older ones up here, but if you were a fan of those books, are you glad he's gone? Are you excited for the future? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.